Hello! It took some finagling to get this camera set up. My name is Andrea, and this is High Literature, a program where I introduce books and stories and comics and art and all that good stuff to you, the viewer. I hope you can hear me. This room is huge. I saw a page from the Scholastic's book fair flyers, and there was an image on it of a book cover that as soon as I saw it I was like, well, I gotta go on eBay and get that book. And while I was on there I got another book. So I got this and this, and wow. Where do I begin? I had a sad moment with this book. I always prided myself in always being able to remember how old I was, what grade I was in, where I was, all the details from when I read a book for the first time. And I couldn't remember. I know that I was in elementary school, but that's it. I don't know what grade I was in or how old I was and whether or not I read this primarily in school or at home. And that was kind of a bummer. And then when I was reading this, honestly, I don't think I reread this. I think it was a reading like for the first time. I don't think I've ever read this book before. Because you know how like when you're revisiting a book, you're like, oh, I remember that, and oh, I forgot about that, but I remember now. And that is not what happened with this at all. I remembered what it was about, but as I was reading the story, I came to discover, I don't think I've ever read this book. It was amazing. I am going to read it again. I'm reading a whole bunch of stuff right now though, so this is gonna have to wait, but I am definitely gonna read this again. It was so good, and there were actually a couple parts that surprisingly actually literally made me laugh out loud. I want to talk about it so bad, but I can't because I'll spoil it, and it's so worth not spoiling. What happens in this book is just incredible, and I was reading about Gary Paulsen, who's the author. This man wrote so much. I printed a list. These are all the books that he wrote in the nonfiction category. His fiction list is 3 times as long, and there was another section of books, like there were like 3 different sections of books that this man wrote, and this was, I printed this out. These are the nonfiction titles because I found them absolutely fascinating. Check out some of these titles. So he wrote Careers in an Airport, Riding, Roping, and Bulldogging, Farm, a History and Celebration of the American Farmer, Successful Home Repair, When Not to Call the Contractor, Forehanding and Backhanding, Hiking and Backpacking, Downhill, Hot Dogging and Cross Country. What is hot dogging? I want to know. Facing Off, Checking and Goaltending, Launching, Floating High and Landing. I looked that one up. And he wrote a book about how to man a freaking hot air balloon. Pummeling, Falling, and Getting Up, Sometimes. I love that title. Canoeing, Kayaking, and Rafting, Going Very Fast in a Circle, Motorcycling, Focus on Sport, Motor Racing, Focus on Sport. There was a whole list of focus on sports books. He wrote a book with an Art Brown Jr. called TV and Movie Animals, a whole book about TV and movie animals. Money Saving Home Repair Guide, Successful Home Improvement Series. I just feel like any man who wrote these, from life experience, by the way, I want to know what his money saving home repair guide is all about. This one really caught my eye. Beat the System, a survival guide. And when I looked it up, guess what? You can't find it anywhere. It's out of print. And I actually did manage to find one copy on eBay for $500. Oh my God. Oh, he wrote 2 books on hot air ballooning. So Launching, Floating High, and Landing came out in 1979. And then 1993, well, I wonder if that is about hot air balloons. I wonder what else it could be. Launching, Floating High, and Landing. I think it's about hot air balloons. But this one, no, it is. It's got to be. So yeah, he wrote 2 books about hot air ballooning. The other one is, it's called Full of Hot Air, Launching, Floating High, and Landing. So yeah, it's got to be the, I don't know if it's like a reissue or if he just had more to say about the subject. Pilgrimage on a Steel Ride, a memoir of men and motorcycles. That was 1997. Caught by the Sea, My Life on Boats, 2001. The last book he wrote, as far as nonfiction is concerned, was in 2021, and it was called Gone to the Woods, Surviving a Lost Childhood, a True Story of Growing Up in the Wild. Because, yeah, he grew up really rough. His parents did not care if he lived or died, and he learned how to do so much just to survive, just to not die. He learned how to hunt. He fed himself by going into the woods and hunting. Hunting and gathering. That's how that was his childhood, was just being completely abandoned by his family and just being forced to fend for himself in the woods. And obviously he, came out okay by it. Wrote so many books, so many amazing books. And I am just fascinated. I'm going to be stuck on Gary Paulsen for a while. And yeah, I have some more titles coming. I found it's called The Madonna Stories, and it's a collection of short stories, and I really want to read that. And a few other titles of his that are fiction. I guess there are different series, like the way that they had the books listed. There was like the Brian series and like there were like all these different like series of books where it was like 3 or 4 books in a series. And Hatchet is part of the Brian series. And I can't remember what the Winter Room was part of, but I don't know why I was so drawn to this book. There was something about this book when I was a kid that maybe it was the blurb on the back. I don't know. I mean, I love the cover, and I love the cover for this. I looked up the artist, and man, he has a lot of great art. Cannot remember his name. I wonder if it says in here. I don't think it does. Cover illustration by Neil Waldman. Gary Paulsen writes with the sureness of one who has experienced the wild for himself. His experiences in the Iditarod, Iditarod, A 1,049-mile race across Alaska by dog sled are captured in Dog Song, a 1986 Newbery Honor Book. Other novels by this distinguished celebrant of the outdoors include Sentries, Tracker, and Dancing Carl. Gary Paulsen and his family live in Leonard, Minnesota. Minnesota. I had one problem with this book. I did not like the ending. And when I say I didn't like the ending, I mean like literally the last, like the closing paragraph. It just bugs me. Oh, it just rankles me. I really don't like it. Like, I wish he was still alive and I could talk to him and be like, let's talk about this ending. It's just so odd. It doesn't feel like an ending. And the beautiful part is it's actually the final paragraph of the epilogue, which served a purpose. Like, so the way the book ends is spectacular, and then we go into the epilogue, and I'm reading the epilogue, and I'm like, just fascinated. It's basically, the epilogue is, it's pretty much, it's just a summation of what happens after all the events of the book. So I was really curious about it. I was like, oh yeah, what happened? And I'm reading, I'm like, oh wow, this is so neat, fascinating, cool, interesting, love it. And then I get to that final paragraph and I'm like, why? It's just so weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. But other than that, the rest of the book is amazing and I can't wait to read it again. It's just, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. There are parts and it's just, it really, it's hard to talk about without spoiling things. Just go on eBay and buy the book. And I say that because, yes, supporting libraries, they're great. Love the library, go to the library. But I guess you've probably seen the news. They're destroying all the books. They're destroying all the books. They're taking all the books, scanning them for AI, and then they're destroying them. So go to eBay and save a book. Save lots of books. Speaking of AI destroying books, I just find, so this book has my favorite, a lovely table of contents. I love a good table of contents. The table of contents are tuning, spring, summer, fall, winter, Alita, Orud the Terrible, O-R-U-D, I think that's how that's pronounced, Crazy Allen, and finally the Woodcutter. I'm going to read Tuning. If books could be more, could show more, could own more, this book would have smells. It would have the smells of old farms, the sweet smell of new mown hay as it falls off the oiled sickle blade when the horses pull the mower through the field, and the sour smell of manure steaming in a winter barn. It would have the sticky, slick smell of birth when the calves come and they suck for the first time on the rich new milk. The dusty smell of winter hay dried and stored in the loft, waiting to be dropped down to the cattle. The pungent, fermented smell of the chopped corn silage when it was brought into the manger on the silage fork. I was pronouncing it silage, but I've been watching Avonlea like a maniac, and that takes place on a farm, and I heard them actually say the word silage, and I was like, ah, I know that word! And now I know how to pronounce it. I was really excited. It was a big moment. This book would have the smell of new potatoes, sliced and frying in light pepper on a wood stove burning dry pine. God, that sounds great. The damp smell of leather mittens steaming on the back of the stovetop, and I never know how to pronounce this word, and the acrid, A-C-R-I-D, the acrid smell of the slop bucket by the door when the lid is lifted and the potato peelings are dumped in. But it can't. Books can't have smells. If books could be more and own more and give more, this book would have sound. It would have the high, keening sound of the 6-foot bucksaws as the men pull them back and forth through the trees to cut pine for paper pulp. The grunting, gassy sounds of the work team snorting and slapping as they hit the harness to jerk the stumps out of the ground. It would have the chewing sounds of cows in the barn working at their cuds on a long winter's night. The solid thunking sound of the axe coming down to split stove wood, and the piercing scream of the pigs when the knife cuts their throats and they know death is at hand. But it can't. Books can't have sound. And finally, if books could give more, be more, show more, this book would have light. Oh, it would have the soft gold light, gold with bits of hay dust floating in it that slips through the crack in the barn wall. The light of the Coleman lantern hissing flat white in the kitchen. The silver gray light of a middle winter day, the splattered white night light of a full moon on snow, the new light of dawn at the eastern edge of the pasture behind the cows coming in to be milked on a summer morning. But it can't. Books can't have light. I'm gonna cry. If books could have more, give more, be more, show more, they would still need readers who bring to them sound and smell and light and all the rest that can't be in books. The book needs you. Gary Paulsen. And that's the first chapter, titled Tuning. The book needs you. And they're just destroying them all. And then it goes into the next chapter, Spring, which is hilarious the way it ends. And it's pretty long. And I don't have this room for long, so I can't read it. I've been reading that chapter over and over again. It's just a few pages. And it's just funny because I remember the first time reading this as a kid. It didn't make me cry, that's for sure. I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was really neat observation, a neat way of looking at it. I mean, this is a man who, you know, books are friends. He's friends with books. I mean, when he writes, this is just his nonfiction. And now I read this and it just tears me apart. I think when did he die? He died not that long ago. I mean, this last book that he wrote was 2021. Oh, I can't imagine how he would feel if he were here today. Ugh. This is a really good book. I can't wait to read more of his stories. So please buy some books. I went on a tear. I started buying so many books that I had to like stop because I got to an account holder who had so many books I wanted, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sleep on this. I'm gonna chill out, take a beat, sleep on it, come back before I buy all of these books. I have no room. I live in a very, very, very tiny space, and like the shelves are full. They're stacking on the floor. There's nowhere to put them. So I have to be careful because I'm literally running out of room to put them. But there was one book in particular I was trying to find that I loved from my childhood. It's funny. I found the book and I ended up not getting it because the person who was selling it, she had just so many other books, and I was like, that one, that one, that one, that one. And then after, and I was like, whoa, 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 stop. Pause. We'll come back. But while I was doing that, there was this kind of funny realization. So the book I was looking for, it's called It's Like This Cat. And it came out, oh God, I don't remember. The 70s or the 50s. It's whatever year West Side Story came out is when this book takes place, because there's a part where they go see West Side Story. So I found many copies that had a cover I was not familiar with. I wanted the cover I grew up with. You know, I wanted, the face that I'm friends with and familiar with. And it was really hard finding the book with the cover I grew up with, and they were more expensive. And it's just so funny to me because it just never really occurs to me how books can have different covers, because I guess there are reissues, and that the books with the earlier covers are going to be more expensive. I remember, God, I was traveling somewhere. This was 6th or 7th grade, and I'm at the airport, and I go to the bookstore, and I bought my first copy of Lord of the Flies by William Golding. And that copy was one of the victims of my great book shipping disaster, and I don't have it anymore. So I went to go buy it online, and you cannot find that book cover anywhere. And when you do, it is so expensive. I couldn't believe it. Like, this book I bought at an airport bookstore for like $5.95 back in the 90s is now considered like a precious relic. And I actually found a copy in a local bookstore here, and it was like $50. And I was talking to the guy, I was like, just out of curiosity, why is this so much? And then he told me it was because of the cover. So go figure. I thought comics, that was a thing with comics, not with books also. So that was interesting to learn. But anyway, so I'm just, I have cover art on my mind for books, and this whole thing with these guys, I saw this cover and was just like, oh my God, I got to get that book and read it again. And so I was trying to like go through the catalog of my mind, like what are other book covers that I remember that I want to read that book. And there are just so many, and my memory is, I'm getting old. So I went online and I typed in YA book covers from 1990. Turns out I wasn't doing a lot of YA reading in the 90s. Well, no, actually I was, but the books I was reading weren't 90s books. They were books from the 80s, from the 70s, from the 60s. And it was really interesting taking out that 9 and putting in an 8, and then putting in a 7 and putting in a 6. And there was something you could click on. It would give you a list of like, there it is, all the YA books with the covers. Cover art has really depreciated over the decades. The older stuff is better. And the stuff, it's like movie posters. You look at like the old Bob Peak movie posters, or like the Drew Struzan, and I mean, they're just works of art. And then you look at these movie posters today and you're just like, it's just so uninspiring. And same with books. And I wonder if that applies to album covers now that I think about it. And I kind of think no. I wonder why. Why are movie posters and book covers better from prior decades, and now they're just like, I was rewatching for the millionth time a ContraPoints episode, and she's talking about like the old clinch covers from old romance novels and what the covers are now. I remember being a kid and seeing those books in grocery stores and stuff, and just being, and I just thought they looked so goofy and corny. And now when I look at those covers, they're beautiful. Are they coming in here? I hope not. They are. Hi. Is it 6:30? I had it reserved for an hour. Till 6:30. Is it 6:30?
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I'm almost done. I'll be out soon.
Okay.
Well, one of these days, I will find a place where I can record without interruption. But I think that's my cue to go. Well, anyway, that was abrupt. Boy, that really threw me off. Okay, well, I feel awkward and weird. I'm going to end this now. Bye.